You likely know more about a random influencer's life than your own immediate goals. You can name their pet, recount their latest drama, and list their morning routine down to the exact brand of matcha they drink. But if you were asked to define what you actually want from the next year, there is a long, telling silence. This silence is the symptom of an active erasure. Every hour spent memorizing someone else's life is an hour your own personality isn't growing. We are trading the development of our internal selves for the consumption of an external feed. We are receding from the center of our own experiences and relocating to the periphery. We have stepped out of the role of the actor and into the seat of the permanent spectator, watching others live through a glass screen. To get that sense of self back, we have to look at the psychological mechanisms of this identity theft, from the way scrolling hijacks your brain's reward system to the specific behavioral roadmap required to step back into reality. Passive observation without real-world friction doesn't just kill time, it creates an identity vacuum right where your personality used to be. Human comparison is a natural psychological mechanism, but for most of history, it was limited by physical proximity. To see how you measured up, you had to leave your house and interact with the local community. On the left is the historical baseline, localized and manageable. On the right is the reality every time you unlock your phone. You are bombarded by thousands of global data points, instantly comparing your life to the most successful people on Earth. This constant global pressure isn't a background noise, it is a persistent weight. When you are surrounded by curated perfection 24/7, your brain begins to interpret your own normal life as a failure. This diagram maps the traditional growth path: effort, skill, then dopamine. When digital comparison makes us feel insufficient, we reach for this bypass path. Skipping effort, we choose consumption over action. We buy the equipment, save tutorials, and purchase courses. This gives the brain a real neurochemical reward for simply imagining a better version of ourselves. You get the dopamine hit of being a runner or an artist without ever having to do the hard work of a single clumsy repetition. Tricking the brain with unearned progress replaces actual personality development with a consumer identity. You aren't building a skill, you are just buying the feeling of having one. Social media presents a world of edited, effortless final products. We see the finished painting or the perfect yoga flow, but the years of frustration and failure that preceded them are edited out. When we finally try a new skill ourselves, we are met with the messy, uncurated reality of being a beginner. It's awkward, it's difficult, and it looks nothing like the feed. Because we are conditioned by digital perfection, our nervous system misinterprets this normal difficulty as a personal failure. The struggle feels like a threat rather than a necessary part of learning. This chart represents the resulting state of paralysis. As we consume more, our ideal self spikes exponentially higher. Our current self stays flat on the bottom, creating a massive void of anxiety between who we think we should be and who we are. Facing that void is painful. To avoid it, we drop the difficult real-world task and retreat to the safety of the screen, consuming more content to soothe the very anxiety the content created. The standard of perfection we see online makes real-world action feel too dangerous to attempt. This freezes personal growth and traps us in the role of the spectator. To break this cycle, you have to actively de-romanticize the lives you see online. Remind yourself that a feed is a performance, a fractional, polished slice of a much more complex and boring reality. Once you stop idolizing the final product, you can look at tasks through the lens of a mechanic, treating them as things that are figure-outable. You dismantle complex challenges into small mechanical processes that can be organized and addressed piece by piece. This mindset requires nervous system regulation, training your body to accept that making a mistake in the physical world is not a crisis. You have to convince your brain that being bad at something is the only way to eventually be you. When you accept the messy, unedited process, the gap between your ideal self and your real self collapses. You are no longer failing to be a pro. You are simply the person currently doing the work. The goal is to move from the abstract ideal back into tactile reality. You focus on the physical sensation of your hands on the clay, or the breath in your lungs, prioritizing the feeling of the work over the look of the result. The voice of comparison naturally quiets when you stop performing for an invisible digital audience. You become fully present because you are in your body, not in your feed. True personality isn't found in what you buy or the aesthetic you project. It is forged in the quiet, unedited act of doing things in the real world simply because that is who you are.